Hey everyone, and welcome back to Let's Hash It Out, a podcast about conversations with the nerd. Usually, Jen is your host, but today I'm here with a research topic we can dive into. I'm Tammy, AI research assistant over at Interview Your Grandparents Today. We're sponsoring this episode because honestly, this topic feels more important every year. Our team has been helping others with their ancestry and their story for 20 years. But we're getting to a point where we need to be a little bit louder in our inspiration for you to keep your memories. Today, I want to talk about something weirdly simple that most people think they'll get around to later. Asking older people questions about their life. That's it. Just me inspiring you to talk to elders. That's the episode. But also, it's not. Because once you actually sit down and start asking questions, you realize you're not just collecting stories. You're collecting context about your family, about history, about how people survived things, about how people loved, about how they adapted, about who you are and where your weird little habits and instincts may have actually come from. And maybe most importantly, you realize how much disappears when nobody asks. I think one of the strangest things about modern life is that we are documenting everything and preserving almost nothing. We have 14,000 blurry photos of somebody's lunch from 2014 floating around in the cloud forever. We have dance trends archived from every angle imaginable. But meanwhile, entire family histories are evaporating quietly because everyone assumed someone else would ask grandma someday. And then suddenly, someday becomes impossible. And this isn't me trying to make everyone depressed in the first 5 minutes of a podcast episode, by the way. I actually think this is hopeful because it's fixable. Right now. Literally with a phone and an hour of your time. Or maybe even 15 minutes. The other day, I was thinking about how many people know almost nothing about their grandparents besides surface level facts. Oh, Grandpa worked at the plant. Grandma liked crossword puzzles. I think that her last name was Smith. I don't know her first name. This is a detriment to our future, but it has many social constructs that allowed us to get here. An easy fix is to look at elders as the encyclopedias of the past. We might have the internet and the ability to rewrite history or visualize it through various interpretations, but none of that is firsthand experience told directly to you. Who are your grandparents, aside from you? What scared them? What did they survive? What did they dream about when they were 20? What was their relationship with money like? Did they almost move somewhere else? Did they ever get their heart broken so badly they thought life was over? Did they secretly hate avocado toast too? These are the things that make people human. And when you ask older people real questions, something fascinating happens. A lot of them light up in a way you don't expect. Because for many people, nobody has sincerely asked them to tell their story in years. Sometimes decades. People get reduced to roles as they age. Mom, grandpa, neighbor, retired guy at church, lady who brings potato salad to every event. But before all that, they were just people in the middle of their own movie. And most of us never ask what that movie looked like. And honestly, some of the stories are incredible. You'll hear things like, oh yeah, we didn't have indoor plumbing for a while. Or, I met your grandfather because his car broke down. Or, we all thought the world was ending during the Cold War. Or, I almost became a singer. Wait, what? You start realizing history isn't just something in textbooks. It lived in your kitchen. It sat across from you at Thanksgiving pretending not to care about anything while secretly carrying 80 years of experiences nobody documented. And look, this isn't just about nostalgia either. This is about understanding human behavior. Because when you hear how older generations handled hardship, uncertainty, relationships, parenting, community, you start understanding your own environment differently too. You start noticing patterns. Why does your family avoid conflict? Why are certain topics never discussed? Why do some generations save everything while others spend freely? Why do certain fears repeat themselves over and over? Sometimes one conversation explains 30 years of family dynamics. And not in a dramatic, we uncovered the secret vault kind of way. More like, oh, that's why Grandpa was like that. There's also something really grounding about hearing firsthand accounts from people who lived through major cultural shifts. Not filtered through headlines. Not turned into clickbait. Not edited into outrage. Just A human being telling you what it actually felt like. What did life feel like before smartphones? What was dating like before social media? Did people trust the news more? What did neighborhoods feel like when people actually knew each other? Did everyone really leave their doors unlocked, or is that just one of those stories people repeat forever? These conversations matter because they preserve emotional reality, not just information. And I think we're entering a weird point culturally where people are drowning in information but starving for memory. Memory has texture. Memory has smell and sound and weird details. Like somebody remembering the smell of their grandmother's house in winter, or what songs played during long car rides, or what it felt like watching the moon landing with the entire neighborhood gathered around one television. That's richness. And if we're not careful, we're going to lose a lot of that richness because we've become so distracted by constant scrolling and endless short form content. Which, irony noted, considering this will probably become a short clip somewhere. But seriously, I keep imagining future generations trying to explain their grandparents someday. And instead of, she survived impossible things and taught me resilience, we're going to get, well, she loved Candy Crush and reposting Minion memes. That cannot be the full archive of a human life. We can do better than that. And the beautiful thing is, it doesn't have to be complicated. You don't need professional cameras. You don't need a documentary crew. You don't even need perfect questions. You just need curiosity. And honestly, a reminder to get the phone microphone close enough to hear them if you're not using an external mic. Because recording the greatest conversation of your life with unusable audio is a special kind of tragedy. Trust me on that one. But beyond that, just ask. Ask about childhood. Ask about first jobs. Ask about heartbreak. Ask about friendships. Ask about world events. Ask about music. Ask about mistakes. Ask what they miss. Ask what they don't miss at all. And then let silence happen sometimes. Because usually the really important stories show up 3 seconds after someone says, "Oh, that reminds me." That's where the gold is. At Interview Your Grandparents today, this is exactly why we started collecting and sharing these conversations. Not because every story is dramatic or historically famous, but because ordinary people are history. Every family carries memories that disappear if nobody preserves them. So whether you record your own interviews, upload them privately for family only, share clips publicly, or even tag us so we can see them, just start somewhere. And if you want help, resources, free question guides, or to request an interview session, you can visit Interview Your Grandparents today. Because one day, someone in your family is going to wish they could hear that voice again. And maybe because you decided to ask a few questions. They still can.
So that was Tammi from Interview Your Grandparents today, sponsoring this episode of Let's Hash It Out. Now go call your grandparents and tag us in your YouTube video clips when you share stories you learned from Grandma. Note, some people, like the nerd herself, don't have or never had actual grandparents who are blood related. That's why their website has questions about history and social life that can spark good conversations that will help scratch the itch for first-hand grandparent knowledge. And if this is you, find an old person and make a new friend. There are plenty of boomers. For now, let's hash it out and learn where we can, what we can, from whom we can. Thanks for subscribing. And stay tuned for more interviews and episodes of conversations to inspire on Let's Hash It Out.
And if you want help getting started, visit our sponsor's website at interviewyourgrandparents.today. They've put together free resources, recording tips, and question guides designed to help you ask the fun questions that actually lead to great answers. The stories people don't usually tell until someone finally asks the right way. Interviewyourgrandparents.today.